Hi everyone and welcome to vlog 27. It has been really unseasonably warm, as you can see by our attire at the allotment today, and it's also been really dry. So up here in the north of England we've had a month without rain, well, apart from one shower, and everything is basically like a desert, so lots of things have just stopped growing. But the eggs are still coming, we have radish, and it's been so beautiful to be out and about and collecting the little harvests that are coming in now. The alpine strawberries have been beautiful and plentiful. It's a really good time to cut back your chives if you grow those, and they've probably gone a bit papery now, and you can cut these. I dry them and then make them into like mixed herbs, like grind them down to make a kind of powder of mixed herbs, and they're great for that. And then you'll get a nice fresh flush of leaf that you can eat in the rest of the summer. I also like to take some lavender cuttings at this time of year. It's really easy to do. You just find kind of growing tips that don't have flowers on them and don't have flower buds on them, and then you just cut them off. I strip back all the lower leaves and then plunge them around the edge of a pot of really gritty compost. Lavender really likes good drainage, so gritty compost is the way to go. And the idea with putting them around the edge of the pot is that as they start to root, the roots will grow out, touch the edge of the pot, and grow stronger. So yeah, it's just a good way of doing it. Hot, dry days are also a really good time to dry some of your herbs. I'd recommend getting out early in the morning to cut them when they're nice and dry, but also when they have maximum oils in them. And then just hang them up either inside in a dry place or like I've got here on the washing line. It was so beautifully hot and sunny this week that we even went for a little wild swim, which was absolutely freezing, but really beautiful. Anyway, after we got refreshed having our wild swim, we headed to the allotment to do the watering. So I'd roped in all 4 of my children to help me with that, which meant that I could actually get round to another job which I've been putting off and not getting time for, and that was planting out and sorting out my brassica cage. So today was the day. Yeah, the children did a great job and did all the watering, and I finally planted up the brassica cage. Some of the plants are not looking the best. They've been stuck in small pots and drying out a lot, so I'm not going to be surprised if they all bolt and I just end up getting a lot of brassica shoots, but they're still edible, and I've got plenty of time yet to do some late sowings and get some brassicas in here for over the kind of late autumn, winter and early spring. So yeah, I'm very pleased I finally got the job done. Here's the brassica cage. As you'll have seen in previous videos, this is another little no-dig space. So I've got a big comfrey plant growing in the corner, which I'd cut down and put down on the ground. I then covered it all in cardboard, which I watered several times, and then watered again because I didn't get around to doing it and it all dried out. So yeah, plenty of cardboard down, and then I'm using some compost that some friends kindly donated to me from their small holding, to make kind of a horseshoe shape all around the edge. And I'm getting some wood chip, which we have delivered to our site, which is really handy, and just laying that down in the centre so I've got somewhere to walk. I really like using the wood chip on my paths because it rots down really easily over time, but doesn't rot down too quickly. It stops you from slipping around, and as it rots down it turns into compost, so it can literally be kind of swept back into the beds and fresh wood chip laid each year. And since we get it delivered to site, it makes sense to use it. So I just got one barrow for this. I might put another barrow on top if I think it needs it once this settles. But yeah, just nice and easy and really effective. So I'm really pleased that now I've got my growing space. I might make the path narrower and make the beds a little bit wider when I get some more compost, but this is going to be great for now. And as you can see, my plants are very desperate to get out into the ground. So I'm just using my trusty hori knife, and I'm just making holes straight through the cardboard. I'm breaking up some of the compost here. Yeah, straight through the cardboard to make holes and planting the brassicas straight into those. I am trying to plant them quite kind of sturdily, like really firm them in, just because they do get into quite big plants and can be quite top heavy, so you want them to be really secure and anchored into the ground. Because this compost is homemade, there are quite a few bits of grass roots and things in there, so I'm trying to take those out as I go, just so that I don't have bigger problems further down the line. But as any weeds do come up in this, which I'm sure they will, I'm just going to have to try and keep on top of them really. So yeah, I'm planting away. So I'm putting 9-star broccoli in here. I'm putting about, I think, 4 or 5 of those plants down the back here. And then I'm also planting in some green sprouting broccoli, purple sprouting broccoli. I've got some Cavolo Nero, and I've also got quite a few little cabbages. These are kind of golden cabbages. They're kind of a round pixie looking cabbage, if that makes any sense, but they're not looking the best because, as I said, they've been stuck in these little pots and drying out, so I have a feeling they're going to bolt, but I'm putting them in anyway because they're lower growing. So I'm kind of planting the kales around the edge and then the cabbages in front of them, and if they do bolt then they will produce flower shoots which you can eat like broccoli, so at least I'll get a harvest from them. And I intend to make a sowing of more brassicas, probably about the middle of July. Making sowings midsummer means that they have plenty of time to grow and get established before the bad weather turns up again, and I should have some nice sturdy plants that I can make another planting out in here in the autumn should these plants not do very well. But it's better, I think, to be using the space, and some of the plants might be fine. But yeah, definitely will be doing a bit more sowing just to back up to make sure I've got plants for over the winter. Some of those sowings that I'll make in July, I'll also use to plant into the polytunnel. I find that the brassicas in the polytunnel do really well over the winter. I can harvest from them the whole time. They get going again in the spring really well, and much earlier than anything outside, and also the pigeons can't get hold of them. Now hopefully this year that isn't going to be a big problem because I have my beautiful brassica cage, but it's nice to have more protected growing spaces where I get to harvest the vegetables instead of the pigeons. Can you make sure the polytunnel's done?
Why aren't you harvesting these more?
No, they don't harvest them, you let them set seed. Maisie, I think I might need one more for this, darling. Could you get that one you've got there? Hopefully they'll all be looking as fabulous as this perennial kale called panache really soon. Finally, the really hot, dry weather broke with huge thunderstorms, and we've had absolutely loads and loads and loads of rain. The water butts are filling up already, and the plants have all had a really good soak, which was desperately needed. So it was very, very welcome rain, and everything is looking so lush and beautiful now. Hopefully now some of the plants like the beans and the onions, which seem to have just stopped growing, will put on a nice new flush of growth. And I think that's about it for this vlog. So thank you so much for watching, and I'm going to leave you with what else comes when the rain comes. See you next time.